what's up everybody, I'm Charlie, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make my delicious New Orleans red beans and rice with smoked sausage and pickle meat in it. This recipe serves between 8 to 10 people, and it is one of New Orleans' most popular dishes. So let's get started. Here is all what you will need to make your New Orleans red beans and rice. You will need 1 pound of camellia red kidney beans, and along with that you will need 2 pounds of Eagle's Best pickled pork, and we normally use this in our red beans down in New Orleans. Now I have the links to where you can purchase this in the description box. You can also use other meats such as smoked meats like pigtails, ham hocks, neck bones, or even turkey. Any meat with salt will do for this recipe. And along with that you will need 1 pound of D&D smoked sausage, unsalted butter, and for your seasonings you will need 1 yellow onion, celery, bell pepper, garlic, some fresh Italian parsley, and bay leaves. And for your additional seasonings, you'll need some Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning. Now if you don't have this, you can use a Zatarain's Creole seasoning or the Slap Your Mama Creole seasoning. And you will also need some Chef Paul Prud'homme's Portier Magic. And for the rice, you will need any type of long grain rice. I'm going to be using jasmine rice for this recipe. And there we have it. Chop 1 yellow onion, rinse your celery off before you chop it. Chop 3 stalks of celery. Make sure you remove the core out of the center of your bell pepper before you chop it. Chop 1 green bell pepper. Here I have 4 cloves of garlic. We're going to chop that up until it's minced. Rinse your parsley off before you chop it. We're going to chop the stem off of the parsley. I'm going to bunch all the leaves together, and we're going to chop that up until it resembles coarse crumbs. Add your pickled pork into a strainer and rinse it off with cold water. Now if your pork has any type of excessive fat or anything, you're going to take your knife and you're going to trim that off. Now we're going to cut the pickled pork. Now as you can see, there's the joints along here. We're going to cut about every 2 joints. So we're going to cut in between those joints. And that's how it looks when we're done. Add a small amount of red beans in the palm of your hand. Now what we're doing here is we're sorting the beans. As you can see here, there's some broken or even discolored beans. You want to remove those. And once you're done, just drop your beans into the pot, and you're going to do this to the entire 1 pound of red beans. Add 9.5 cups of water. Cover with lid. Now in tradition New Orleans fashion, we let these beans soak overnight. Now what does this do? This reduces the cooking time, so the beans will cook much faster. It also helps with the flavor and the texture of your beans. Now as far as your meat and your seasonings, all that you prepared, you just take that, place that in containers, and place it into your refrigerator. And here are our beans the next day. As you can see, they are much bigger. Before we get started with cooking our beans, we're going to boil our pickle meat, then we're going to braise our meats and saute our seasonings. Preheat your fire to medium-high heat. Here I have 2.5 quarts of water into a large pot. Let this come to a simmer. Add your pickled pork. Now if you're using any type of smoked meat, you don't have to follow this step. Cover with lid. Let this simmer for 1 hour. By pickle meat having a high concentration of salt, we must boil the meat first to remove most of the salt. It's been about an hour now. This is the most important step. Taste your pork stock to see if it's salty. and it should be. Now, with my experiences with cooking with many different pickle meats, I've tried different ones like Savory's, Richard's, or even the pork brisket bones that I used in my other red beans video. I found that those have a much lower concentration of sodium than the Eagle's Best. With those, you don't have to follow this step. You can add them into your red beans during the cooking process and they won't make your red beans salty at all. Turn your fire off. Reserve 2 cups of this salted pork stock, and we're going to add that into the red beans later. Add your pickle meat into a strainer. Preheat your fire to medium-high heat. In a cast iron skillet, add 2 teaspoons of oil. Spread the oil around the bottom of your pan. Let get hot for 1 minute. Add your pickle meat. Let this sear for 3 minutes on each side. Once done, remove your pickle meat out of the pan and place onto your serving dish. Add the entire 1 pound of D&D smoked sausage into your cast iron skillet. Let this sear for 4 minutes on each side. Once done, remove your D&D smoked sausage from your cast iron skillet and place onto a serving dish. Add 1 1/2 cups of chopped yellow onion, 1 1/3 cup of chopped celery, 1 1/3 cup of chopped green bell pepper, and 2 tablespoons of chopped garlic. Stir all your ingredients together. Let this sear for 12 minutes. It's been about 12 minutes now, and as you can see, our seasonings are a nice light toasty brown color. Turn your fire off. We finished searing our meats and sauteing our seasonings. Let's begin cooking our red beans. Preheat your fire to medium-high heat. Here we have our pot with our red beans, which we let soak overnight. Let this come to a simmer. We're at a simmer now. Give that a quick stir. Add your pickle meat, which we've seared. Now remember the seasonings that we sauteed. We're going to add that in there. Now for our additional seasonings, add 1 tablespoon of Tony Chachere's grill seasoning, 2 teaspoons of Chef Hoppedom's Porchy Magic, 1/4 cup of parsley, and 4 bay leaves. Stir all your ingredients together. Cover with lid. Let simmer for 1 hour. It's been about 1 hour now. Give this a quick stir. As you can see, our red beans are turning out nice, creamy, looking good. Now remember that salted pork stock that I told you to reserve. Add 2 cups of that in here. Chop your D&D smoked sausage and add it into your red beans. Give this a quick stir. Cover with lid. Let simmer for 25 minutes. It's been about 25 minutes now, and our red beans are done. Turn your fire off. Now for the final step. Add 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter. Let the butter melt into the beans. Once the butter has melted, stir all your ingredients together. Now the butter will not only give your beans flavor, but it will also improve the texture of the beans as well. Let's start on the rice. Preheat your fire to medium-high heat. Here I have 2 quarts of water in a medium-sized pot. Let this come to a simmer. Add 1 cup of rice. Give this a quick stir. Let this simmer for 8 minutes. It's been about 8 minutes now. I'm going to taste the rice to see if it's at our desired texture. And it is done. Turn your fire off. Add your rice into a mesh strainer. Rinse your rice with cold water. Return your strainer with rice in it back onto your pot and let sit for about 1 hour before serving. Here is the final presentation. And there you have it, red beans and rice, made by a New Orleans native. If you like my channel, you can subscribe to it. You can also check out this recipe along with all of my other recipes, as well as contact me or donate to the channel. Visit www.charliethecookandrews.com. You can also like, follow, or contact me on Facebook and on Instagram under the name Charlie the Cook Andrews. Stay tuned as Charlie's taste test is coming up next. Now it's time for Charlie's taste test. I love me some red beans and rice on a Monday. The red beans are nice and creamy, not too thick, just right. You can taste the flavor of the pickle meat with the smoked sausage, all the seasonings that we've added, and then that butter just gives it a little extra flavor. Very, very good. I just love my city food. Like, in my opinion, there's nothing like New Orleans food. I mean, I love it. And that's it. I hope you all enjoyed the video. So, until next time, take care, and I hope you all have a blessed day. Peace.